and thanks to FM Valenti, who brought this opportunity on table. And I think this is very significant in terms of allowing us to sell our pro hardware in enterprise applications, where customers want an integrated platform with either Milestone on SSI and a Mirasys, and more VMS integrations to come in future. So with that, I would like to hand over to Charlie and have him introduce this solution.
Okay, thank you very much, Manish. I'm Charles Hickey, Director of Operations for Convergence TP. And today's webinar, we're going to cover these topics here. Manish just did a brief introduction for the ZKAccess and what their focus is on this market. I'm going to have Paul Eaton come up next and introduce what Convergence TP does. From there, I'm going to go into the features of C2P, basically the selling features of the market. Then I'm going to talk about the C2P and the ZKAccess integration. We'll do a live demo with a ZKAccess reader and bringing that information into a VMS system. The VMS system we're going to use will be Milestone. Then we're going to talk about the sales channel, the model, and the pricing that's involved with the product. And then we'll have some questions and answers after that. Although if you have questions during the presentations, we can take a few of them, but I didn't want to slow down the momentum. So, Paul, can I give you the controls right now?
Sure.
If you want to take them and...
Yeah. So let me just go back a couple here. So first I'd like to take a moment to thank Manish and Larry for putting this together. I think this will be very informative, and we appreciate you organizing this. This is nice. So I'm Paul Eaton, President and CTO of Convergence TP. And so I'm just going to give you a brief overview of the company. I'll let Charlie, he has some pretty good slides here. He'll take you through a lot of the details of how it all comes together. But I would like to mention that Convergence TP was started in 2010 with the sole mission of providing an integration framework that allows IP appliances, like you see on the left here, to be integrated seamlessly with any VMS system. So that seems like quite a large task, but we put together a framework that actually, over the years, we've honed it down where it becomes a pretty straightforward task for us these days. And working with folks like ZKAccess, it was very straightforward to bring their access control system into our framework. Now, once it gets into our framework, we are now expanding to multiple VMS systems, and so the look and feel is the same on no matter what VMS system you go to. So if you're going to Milestone, on SSI, Mirasys, and there's a few more to be announced over the course of the year, the look and feel is exactly the same for the user. So if you're going to sell into a different VMS, it's really simple to be able to go from one to the next because the user interface is identical to them. So that's our job, is to normalize the interface so that you folks don't have to relearn how everything works every time you go to a new VMS system. All right, so why is this important? I guess I'll just touch on that. As our security friends tell us, if there's video associated with a specific event, those events are very easy to resolve. You imagine a situation where there is no video. You've got to do a lot of forensic work to try to figure out what's true and what's not true. If there's video of something, it gets solved. In the POS world, you're no longer talking about, I didn't do it. You're talking about, please don't prosecute me. I mean, that's how easy it is with video. You see it and you're done. So that's the logical step we see the industry taking, and we've invested a lot of time and effort to create a framework so that these IP appliances on the left can be seamlessly integrated into just about any VMS. From our point of view, we just have to find VMS systems that want to work with us to be able to bring that integration in, and we've got quite a few in the pipeline. So with that, I can get into each one of these, but I think Charlie's going to cover this slide, so I'm not going to steal his thunder. That's essentially who we are and what we do and why we're here. And again, it was a pleasure working with ZK on this integration. I think it's very powerful. So all yours, Charlie.
Thanks, Paul.
Very good. Thank you, Paul. Yeah, so what Paul mentioned, the items on the left here, this is the basically the market. And these are the IP devices, I'll call them IP appliances, that we bring information from these devices into the VMS system just as if they were a camera. And we store the information as a camera as well, and we create a database. So now we can search on any piece of information that came in from these IP devices. So if I start over here on the point of sale, when we, whoops, back here on that image. So when we bring point of sale information into the VMS system, we bring it in basically in three categories. One, we have an overview camera. This is the surveillance camera of the particular area that's of interest. We bring the text information in from the register down here in the second viewport. This is the actual transaction that's going on at the register at the time. And if you need to, if the customer wants to have a procedure, he can actually create his own procedure, and we can post that procedure as a camera view. All three of them come up at the same time inside the VMS system. So when people are working with point of sale, most of the time they're interested in loss. And loss at the register is typically generated from a no sale or a deleted item or a refund or manual entry of employee discounts or price overrides. These are the things that are causing the causing loss to take place at the register. Somehow we're coming back to, I got everybody's under control. You know what? Maybe I shouldn't have everybody on control here. I guess that was my mistake. Let me go back to the product here. So when we bring information into the point of sale, we can actually bring it in and look for these particular items. We can look specifically for no sales, deleted items, and refunds and bring the video back associated with it. We can also take the information in the database and export it to another tool which we offer, and it's actually charting the information that's coming in off the registers. In this particular one, we're looking at how many no-sale transactions were done by each register. And you can see Jamie had 1, Marjorie had 1, Sansa had 1, John Snow had 9. So we like to look a little closer at John Snow's transactions because we're tracking how many times a no-sale transaction was done at a register.
Can you check your email? Hey, Lee, can you check your email again? Yeah, check the right one.
So when we talk to banking folks, again, we go into banking, a very similar format. We have a surveillance overview camera in the area. We have a transaction. In this particular case, it's an ATM machine. And if there's any alerts associated with that particular account, we can actually push a message up to the bank manager letting him know that an event is taking place at his machine that he needs to know about. And we've been talking to folks down in the various banks, and one of them is that they want to know about when high-value deposits are made. We can actually flag that. When ATM cards are swiped at a ATM machine and there's no transaction taken, we're asking the bank, why is that important? He said that's because people go in with stolen credit cards. They go into the ATM machines and they put the cards in the machine. If the machine rejects the card, they know the card's been reported stolen. If the card asks for a PIN number, they know it's a good card. So they're actually cleansing stolen credit cards at the ATM machine. So the bank wanted to know that, so we actually integrated a card was swiped and no transaction made. So it's just kind of working with the end user. Then to access control, of course, this is right down ZKAccess alley here. Again, overview camera of the area that's being monitored. The transaction information, the information here in the center screen, this is the information that came in from the access control reader. So the name, the department, the door, the date, the time, the zone, and so on like that. All that information came in from the reader. We put it into a camera view and bring it up onto the screen, and we create a database. So now we can search on any item that's listed on this list here. And what we're looking for here is primarily, when a badge reject is taken or operated, pass back for illegal badges, terminated employees trying to get back in, doors forced open. These are events that require immediate attention, and we can actually push procedures to the screen when these events take place. Another one would be restricted area. Let's say somebody is trying to get into the computer room or the front door or a computer lab. We can actually track the number of times a reject badge was swiped at those locations, And we can go back later. The user can go back later and say, listen, I want to go back a little closer and find out how many people and who are they trying to get into areas that they're unauthorized to get into. So this is a very powerful tool that actually charts the information that's coming in from the readers. License plate recognition, we've all seen these as far as vehicles that are on the lookout for, stolen vehicles, unregistered plates, training orders, people coming into campus that don't belong, that maybe been terminated, or maybe a gated community where the husband's not allowed to visit the wife. They like to stop those people at the gate rather than letting them in to the area. You can do that with a procedure set up earlier and just put that license plate number into the rules definition, and that alert will pop up when the event takes place. Asset tracking, again, this is for barcode readers, RFID readers, used for loading docks. If you're looking for a specific item that's coming in for shipments, you want to grab it while it's at the receiving end, or if there's a recall on contaminated food or a defective part, you want to catch it at the loading dock rather than putting it on the shelf or putting it into the final product. So this is just tools that are being used by integrating machine information with the VMS system. Condition of packages for insurance claims, who damaged the package. You can actually go back to the location. You can search on the barcode and find out every place that package has been handled, and find out what the visual evidence of what the product looked like at each depot. And then waste stations, another one for shipping, not shipping, but waste management, and also truck scales. This one we're working for in Australia actually is waste transfer. They want to monitor the events. They want to be able to look at the record, so the video associated with the vehicle, the driver, and also have a record of the classification of the waste that's being left at the transfer stations. So we integrated the scales from the weigh machines with the VMS system. So what this product is doing is basically we're bringing in some benefits to the customer, and there's three big reasons. One of them, one is integrating the existing security investments that a customer already has, such as access monitoring. That's a system that detects people and records the events. The VMS system records the video, but the C2P, basically our software, ties them together and creating an index of the people to the events. So the events can be easily called up with the video. So if a person came into the building, the door, or an event took place, we can have the video called back immediately just by using the existing customer's security equipment that he already owns, a VMS system and an access control system. Sorry about that. I got the controls set for everybody. I need to go back, and I should have stopped that.
Yeah.
So if you have your mouse, don't use your mouse. Okay. Also, one of the things that we've done by bringing the software into the VMS system, we're now embedded into the VMS client. So your access control system is now inside the VMS system. So that allows us to have access to any camera within the enterprise. We can call it up because we're time synchronized with the events. So a person that comes up to a door, the old system, you had just a camera of the person looking at the door. Now you can have an access to that person anywhere in the enterprise. So you're not just limited to the door. That person, you could go back and, with the video, go back and find out where he was before he got to the door, where he went after the door. So by combining this technology, what we're creating is a unified security platform. Everything is coming together in one location. You don't have to have a separate system for access control, excuse me, and another system for your VMS. They're brought together. Another thing, why C2P, is that it gives us the capability, or you, basically, the capability to upsell the ZKAccess users. You can go back and introduce new technology to integrations that already exist. So if you have a customer that has a ZKAccess system, you can go back to them and say, listen, we now integrate with VMS systems, and by the way, do you have any point of sale or license plate recognition or RFID asset tracking requirements that can be integrated at the same time? So it gives you an opportunity to go back and speak to all your existing customers, saying that we've got this new technology that brings everything together, not just access control, but everything that you probably have an interest in. So the advantages we're having is we're basically bringing text seamlessly into the VMS system. So we're adding value to a customer's existing requirements. We do it in two fashions. One of them is prevent a crime, or we can do that for access control. When the door is kicked open or a badge is rejected, we can actually take care of it immediately. The other aspect is investigations. So if you need to go back and look at a certain event that took place, we can use the search engine to go back and bring up that particular piece of data and the associated video that goes along with it. So who's using the products? The people we're talking to from a retail standpoint is the PCR, which is basically a convenience store, petroleum, convenience, retail, and casinos. They're looking at it for loss preventions. About 39% of the losses that occur in a store or a business are from the employee's theft. It's all internal, which is a fairly high number, but it's been that way for the last 10 years. So when somebody goes in to integrate the point of sale, we actually bring the POS system into play. And again, when a transaction takes place at the register, now we have a record of it. We can zero in on no sales, deleted, and refunds. Specifically, pick out certain registers or cashiers and zero in on those particular transactions. For other areas, for primarily for this is for casinos, but it applies to many different stores, is audit investigations. This is an area where the audit team looks at spreadsheets, and they're looking through the spreadsheets for particular items like no sales, voids, employee discounts. They can see an area and they can zero in on a person's cashier or terminal number. From the spreadsheet, they'll click on a line item here. From that command, we'll go ahead and we'll bring up the actual point of sale transaction. So we'll bring up a spreadsheet showing the transaction, and simultaneously our software goes out and grabs the recording server and brings back the video associated with that transaction. So now you have all three events taking place just by one click of a button. So if you have people in the point of sale area that need to go back and look at investigations, our software can easily bring back those particular events. Find the event, click on it, bring back the transaction, bring up the video that goes along with it. We're talking to folks in banking as far as ATM machines, teller workstations. Most of the time they're settling a customer dispute. The bank out in the Midwest was telling us they had tellers that didn't want to use the VMS system with their job. They thought Big Brother was going to be looking over their shoulder. But they changed their tune once they had a customer come in and say, listen, I have a bank statement. On the 15th of the month, someone took out $100. I don't know who it was. So the bank teller was able to call up the particular account number and that date and had the video to go along with it. Showed the video to the customer, and she said, oh, yeah, it's my husband. So by using the C2P software, just a few clicks of a keyboard, you've got the video coming back in associated with that particular event. That was a nice situation because the customer was happy that the bank was able to resolve the question so quickly, and the bank was happy that the customer went away satisfied as opposed to being disgruntled. So we talked to folks in municipalities and corporate campuses, primarily for access control, for people coming and going in and out of a campus environment. As far as doors, in other words, we talked about this earlier about badge rejects, pushbacks, and employee termination, and so on. You can find those immediately by having the access control system integrated right in with the VMS system. This works out great for large campuses, corporations where you have maybe 800 or 900 cars coming up the driveway every morning. You can set it up so that you just pick out the ones that don't belong there. So basically you're looking for unregistered vehicles. So out of 900 cars, you can pick out the ones that don't belong there, and you can do that and stop them at the gate before they actually get onto campus. School systems are using the system as well for unregistered vehicles on campus. I know parents send their kids off to college. They want to know if the colleges are safe. So the colleges are integrating license plate recognition and access control systems to say, okay, who's on the campus? They know who's registered, who's not registered. They can easily find out who's on campus and who's not. Hospitals are using this for tracking RFID barcode readers for monitoring expensive test equipment within hospitals. Also LPR, we had a customer out in California. They wanted to know if we could put an LPR system at the emergency room to the to the hospital. So, okay, we thought that was rather humane, that they could actually wanted to go back and find out the person, let them know that the person they dropped off was in good care. And they said, no, that wasn't the reason. They wanted the LPR. They wanted the LPR to know where to send the bill, because people were dropping off people at the emergency rooms and leaving. So they didn't know who to charge the bill to. So they want to know who did that. That's a different twist on things. We also have integrations with machines. We service amusement parks, airports, and courtrooms. We call this our machine-to-machine integration. And basically what it is, it's a PLC controller, one machine talking to another machine. And a lot of people call this the IoT, the Internet of Things. But we called it the M2M for a while back there, so we didn't know about IoT until later on. But what we're using is one machine is talking to another machine. In particular, it's used in prison systems, such as the detention centers. So if you're transporting a prisoner from one room to another room, they'll push a button. We'll bring cameras up on both sides of the door, make sure that the room they're going into is a clear and safe room before they actually release the door control and let the person into the new room. We're using it in airports between the jetway and the terminal. If that door ever gets kicked open, immediately 6 cameras are pushed up to the command center so the security people can see if that's a real breach of security or some 5-year-old kid got away from his parents and pushed the door open. They know immediately. They have video instantly of that event. We're working in amusement parks. We're monitoring the track on rides. So when the ride goes past a certain point on the track, it hits a sensor. That sensor pushes video up to the command center, so the command center, the safety command center, can see that the track is clear, make sure nothing got dropped on the track behind it. It can stop the ride if it needs to, and plenty of time before the ride gets to that point of the track. Also, 911 emergency centers. If a call comes in, the 911 cameras could be pushed up to the control center to see that vicinity, where that area of the call is coming in from. And also courtrooms. We actually had people up in the north, I guess it was up in the northwest there. When they found oil, they got a lot of crazy people in courtrooms. So the judges were concerned about notifying security when an event took place. So we put in through a PLC controller, we put in 2 buttons up on the judge's bench. It was low alert and high alert. So low alert would be go ahead and send the bailiff in, escort the prisoner to jail, and we can actually bring that up on camera. The other one, high alert, which means there's a fight going on in the courtroom, or worse than that, a gun was in the courtroom. So certain events were being integrated specifically for one machine to the other machine. At the same time, when that call came in from the judge's bench, the high alert can actually open the judge's chambers door, so the judge could leave the room at the same time the video is being pushed up to the command center. So it was pretty good event integration for all these different markets. IPC dispatcher is, again, it's a prison system arrangement. Manufacturing, we have asset tracking. If there's a defect in the part, we can actually flag the part while received at the receiving dock, or a special handling. We can notify people that their packages arrived and let them know that their products are here. Shipping and receiving, again, asset tracking for insurance claims. Loading dock and shipping, asset and barcode readers. Weigh stations, so I covered this earlier. As far as weigh stations, trucks, and so on for scales, we can actually bring the information up into the video and management system and search on it. Product integrations. This is a summary of what we're interfacing with right now for access control. The ZKAccess asset tracking. This is Visonic, SAUR, which is a shipping company. And general barcode readers, DHL, iWeight is scales integrations, banking, license plate recognition. These are the companies that we interface right now to both Milestone, ONSSI, and also Mirasys. M2M integrations, Hikvision, these are PLC controllers that we work with. Advantech, Access, Wonderware, very popular Wonderware in prison systems. And then point of sale, Radiant, IBM RMS, Micros, PositTouch, and Lock. What I'd like to do is go ahead and do a quick demo if I can. And what we're going to do is we have a card reader here from ZKAccess. That reader is going to talk to the control panel. Panel talks to our proxy. The proxy talks to our base. we talk to the VMS recorder, then goes off to the client, and the information comes up on the screen. I've got a couple of cards, and go ahead and bring up the VMS system. And this is for Milestone, this one here. And what we're going to do is go ahead and swipe the badge, and go ahead. When we swipe the badge, the information is going to be coming up on the screen over here. So we're taking the information, the text information from the reader, and bringing it up into the VMS system as a camera view. At the same time, we create a table where that information now shows up in the table. The most recent event takes place on top here. So that was a good badge that went through. And we have another badge that's set up so that he has limited access. And the limited access means that he's got a valid badge, but he's not allowed in that particular area. So this person, the access was denied because he did not have credentials to get into that particular door. He does have credibility in other areas, but not that particular door. Okay. Now we have other badges which are unregistered. If there's an unregistered badge, again, that's going to come up as an event where the badge was swiped. He has the location, the date, and the time. No image of the person. It's just an unregistered badge. So when we've done that, we can actually now do a search. And we're inside the Milestone client. You can see up here in the top here. And we actually have the events cataloged here into our spreadsheet, into our table. I can go ahead and I can look at search engine. I can say, show me the cameras for that particular event. Here's one for Paul Eaton. Go ahead and click on that, and it'll bring me back to the camera view for Paul Eaton at that particular time. I'm in the browse mode right now. So it brings me back to the point in time that that event took place. I can play the cameras forward and play the cameras back. I can also go back into live mode, and I can actually stay in the browse mode here and do another search, another event. Show me the cameras, show me the video associated with this particular line item. And one of the things that we bring in onto our database here, let me go ahead and expand that a little bit. We have an expand button here. This is all the information that came in from the tag. In other words, when we read the tag, this is the metadata that came in off of the tag. So now we have a record of all the events, all the items that came in from the reader. We also have a thumbnail view over here on the left. This is actually a database. This is a rendering. This is a rendering from our database. So we take information from the database. We can actually look at it here on the left. Item over here on the right is from the recording server. So this is what the recording server took record of on the right. This is the database here on the left. You can go back in and we can do a search if we want to look for a certain item. Maybe there was an item there for Paul. Let me go ahead. There's an item here, say access denied. So I'm going to look for the event name. Show me every event name that had access denied on it. So I can close that up, go into my search engine, and the event name. These are all the parameters that came in from the reader. So the event name contains, let's say, denied, D-E-N. Show me every time we had a card that was denied. So now we can look at the number of cards that were denied. I can show me the video. It goes out to the recording server and brings back that particular video. That was at 1506. 1506. There's another one, 1413. 1413. So basically, we're going back in time. We're grabbing information from the recording server precisely at that moment in time. And then we can add more parameters to the search. It could be another parameter, maybe the person's name, Paul. And then, of course, this is going to, oops, I can spell it right here. We're going to get the same view because Paul, his name is in there. If I had another name or another individual, Charlie, we should have no information at all. There was no denials for anybody with the letters CHA in their name. So it's just a quick search engine. We could add more parameters to the search. Any piece of metadata can be added to the search engine, so we can drill down deeper and deeper into the selectivity of the investigation. So, okay, let's moving on. Any quick questions, or I know I'm moving kind of fast here, but there was.
Are you able to demonstrate how to access the C2P interface from the Milestone application?
How to add them? I'm sorry, the what? Add the.
Yeah. I like to simulate that I'm a Milestone administrator, and I wish to do I wish to do some analysis. So, how do I access your software interface from Milestone?
From the
Is it a button? Is it a button? Is it a tab? Is it an option?
Well, when you say search the interface, you're talking about searching the data that we're looking at right now?
No, Charlie is looking to how does he access the search page, and basically, Larry, it's a view in the Milestone view. I mean, you can define a view. That view is defined as a web page with 3 video tiles on the right hand side. So when you bring up that view, you already got this search in front of you.
Okay, so it looks just like it's part of the Milestone interface, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is.
Yeah, we have a custom 4-channel view that we've made in Milestone, and we've attached a live or recorded camera in the top right view, the event monitor in the middle view, and a web portal to the hypermedia search on the left side. So this is all customized through the Milestone menus and looks completely integrated.
So, team, let me give you a brief overview of the setup, what we have here. So, Charlie has a 2-door bundle with him with our card readers, and he had some credentials. And they also have ZKBioSecurity installed on their computer. So, inside ZKBioSecurity, there are certain parameters which needs to be configured in order to connect with the C2P server, or C2P base, what they call. And then once the connection has been established, then every time there is a transaction in ZKBioSecurity, whether it is from a door event or whether it is from an auxiliary input, output, all those events can be then sent to to C2P, and then they are being displayed over there. So once the transactions hit the C2P base, then everything is indexed, everything is searchable, and then that is all tied to a video on the VMS side. So every door can be linked to a video, or I mean a camera or multiple cameras, and then every time you search that particular event, it can bring up those video from those cameras which are linked to that door or auxiliary input or output or something like that. Now, what this does is that this, as you previously were aware that our ZKAccess used to only work with certain cameras. Now, with this integration, we have made it a camera agnostic. So obviously, Milestone or OnSSI. These kind of VMS platforms work with majority of the enterprise level cameras which are ONWIF compliant, so we don't have to worry about now what camera a customer has. If they are looking for an integrated solution, now they can have this in on a single platform. Moshe, correct me if I'm wrong on that.
Oh, you're absolutely right. It's basically brings to the operator on the customer side the ability to look at both systems from one interface. And that's the intent. And it doesn't matter which camera they're using on site. You're correct on that as well. They can access any camera because of the credential of the user into the VMS.
So at this time, I would like to, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to mention to Charlie, this is Paul, if he could hit the setup, he could show you how easy it is to add this view, or just show you the components of the view anyway. So this is just a normal milestone setup. So all that happened here was he built the view and called it whatever he called it, and now once it's built, it's part of milestone. It's a view that's this user has credentials to be able to see. So it's completely integrated into milestone. No moving parts.
Right.
Yep. So I believe Sean is on the line. Sean, can you share us your experience of selling C2P? I mean, you have been representing them for past several years, I believe, right?
Yeah, we've had it. We've had some interest. We've tried to tie it in with a couple of schools that were doing some access. This was obviously before the integration with you guys. And it's a question of getting out to the integrators and trying to convince them. Everybody asks and is looking for the option of doing integration or the ability to do integration. But now what we're able to show them is a working, easy way of doing that integration without having to tie in a lot of different, disparaging systems. And C2P becomes a glue that can tie them all together. So it's really just going out and letting them know it's a true integrated interface that works right within the, in my case, ONSSI or potentially Milestone or any of the others that will bring in the access. With an easy search engine, that's the big key part of it, is C2P has a very user-friendly search, whether it's access control, POS, LPR, to get the reporting back.
That's right.
And also, just to add to it, it's Moshe. Usually, in today's climate, when you come to a customer site, not only that they are looking to install the product, they are looking for an integration with a VMS on site. Sometimes the VMS is not present yet. Sometimes the VMS is already there. In your case, if the integration doesn't exist, it blocks you from reaching out to this opportunity, and C2P exactly enables you to accomplish those potential sales by leveraging this integration to the VMS.
Mm-hmm. So with that said, Paul, can you highlight or explain our team your sales model, and currently how do you basically sell and give customer support to your customers?
I could, but I think Charlie has some slides that he put together, and he's probably closer to that. I'm more on the technical side, so he could probably do that more justice than I.
Sure.
Yeah. So let's go back into the sales channel, if we can. And what we're set up to do is provide our software, our products, up through system integrators or the distributors, who in turn work with the customer directly. But the manufacturer's reps, they're talking to all three of them. They're talking to the customer, they're talking to the system integrator, and they're talking to the distributor. So it's the glue provided by the MR that makes this system work. In other words, we'll work closely with the distributors and system integrators to get the products in place. So when we go out and have a path number one right across the middle here, the MR works with the system integrator. The integrator places the order with C2P. Again, customers paying the MSRP. System integrator is involved in the loop. The MR, the certified MR, gets the commission of 10% of the sale that goes to the that C2P gets. When a sale goes in through a distributor has higher costs than the system integrator, so the sales go through the distributor. The MRs are getting 7%, although this distributor has much larger volume and distribution than system integrators. So even though the percentage is a little bit less, the volume would be higher in the applications. And we talk about a certified C2P MR, and that's a company that's received our product training and has the demo software, which we provide to the customers, to the MRs. And we have no exclusive territories. Basically, what we're looking for is project registration if there's people in the same area vying for the same project. So what does it look like for access control? When we go into the pricing, every time we sell our system, we have a base license that's required, and plus an IP device that connects to the base. So for an example, if we had one door, there would be one base license. The MSRP is $1,000. The door name connection is $99 each. So that one door installation would be $1,099 MSRP to the end user. So we had 10 doors. Again, we only need one base license and 10 door names, $99 each, so it's $19.90. And the licenses going out to the doors are based on the door names. So some controllers have control 2 doors, but it's door names that we charge by. So we need the IP address of the door. So that would be the basic pricing model.
And Charlie, these are one-time costs, right?
Yes, these are one-time costs. There was another question there, I'm sorry.
No, I was going to state the same thing. You might want to state out that that's not a yearly issue. It's a one-time they own it.
Right. That was for the license for the access control. We had to be lower in the price in order to be competitive with the other companies in access control world. But the other devices that we have for barcode readers, point-of-sale terminals, license plate recognitions, RFID, asset tracking, and so on, those licenses are $350 each. So if someone had a barcode reader, again, you need a base license. If this was a new install, one barcode reader at $350, so that would be a $1350 MSRP sale. If they had 5 barcode readers, again, you just need one base license and 5 barcode readers, $350 each, be $2750.
So Charlie,
Also,
if they have, if they have a video based license, and if they want to add barcode, do they have to get another barcode based license?
No, they do not. Just one base license, and you can put your readers on there, and you can put your barcode readers and your door readers on that one base license. Yep.
Do you also have an option for just one fixed enterprise license, or does it just scale upwards from one unit?
We have an enterprise license for the base. It's a $6,000, unlimited ESEs. In other words, for distributed applications, if the customer has 5 or 6 or 7 or 10 locations, rather than a base license at each location, they'll get the enterprise base and cover as many base license applications that he needs. You might have one area where he's got access control, in other words for point of sale, others for license plate recognition.
Well, just rounding off the numbers, if it's $100 per door, and if you have more than 60 doors, 60, then you just go with the enterprise for $6,000, and then you're covered.
Well, you're talking about door licenses or base licenses?
You still have to buy a door license on top of the enterprise base license.
I'm just trying to say, if I've got 61 doors,
right?
What's the most advantageous way for a customer to buy that?
Are you talking about within one facility, Larry, or over multiple locations, though? That's the difference of what Charlie's talking about. If it's one facility, you're buying the one base license for $1,000 and then 61 door licenses.
And if it's multiple locations, they're buying an enterprise plus an additional 61 door license?
Potentially, if you go beyond the 6 locations for base, then it becomes cost effective to buy the enterprise. So if you're rolling this out through, I don't know, Subway, you're going to buy, a single enterprise for your 6,000, and then 4 doors per Subway location.
So you're still buying.
Yeah, we talk to the casinos. They have 10 buildings, so they get the enterprise base license, and then they can just add as many base. I
guess my point is, you always have to pay an individual door license, no matter what. Is what I'm saying.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so if you have 1,000 doors, you're still going to pay that $100,000 in door licenses plus the base.
Well, you have 1,000 doors. I think we can talk. We can negotiate.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's what I was getting at. What happens when we get into enterprise customers? That's all.
Yeah. Negotiable.
Right. Okay.
I don't think we've come across the opportunity yet where we've had to discount based on quantity of licenses. But I think having worked with Charlie and Paul and Moshe enough to know that if we were to bring an opportunity there, everything is worth asking, and if it becomes a competitive situation, we'll be able to work with them to meet the customer's needs at a price point that works for everybody.
Right.
Okay, in addition to the licenses, we also have a software upgrade plan that the customer may want to have as an option. It's available for 1, 2, and 3 years. Basically, it's 10% a year. And that provides any new features or upgrades for both either the VMS system interface or the IP device interface. So we're working with 2 companies here. So if the access control system or license plate recognition system, they make changes, we go ahead and we'll cover those changes, that interface, so it continue to work with the VMS system. Or if the VMS system does an upgrade and then the old system wasn't working, we'll go ahead and make that interface work. So that's where the software upgrade plan comes into play. So we'll make sure that you're always up and running. The cost is based on a total, the MSRP. When the customer buys $1,000, it's 10% of $1,000. And if the customer adds items during the middle of the year, we'll go ahead and cover those items for the rest of the year or until the anniversary date of the sub-plan comes due. So he's not left hanging in the middle of the year.
So what happens if you don't pay for maintenance and then all of a sudden Milestone makes a change that
right.
The C2P integration no longer works? What happens?
We'll come back and we'll require them to buy a 2-year sub license at that time. We'll impose a 2-year sub for them to become current. 2-year integration license. So we'll get a 20% if they want to let it slide. So.
Well, no, that's very key for any salespeople on the phone. Make sure the customer knows going into this that C2P nor ZKAccess can guarantee that integration will remain if that VMS has any changes. So yeah, this is a great selling feature of this maintenance program.
It is. Customers that have it love it, particularly when there were changes on the VMS systems. We took care of them the next day. So
right.
Rather than being down and out without a system, which is what they were, so other guys. So that worked out very well. Very happy the people that get them. When you're talking to dealers, we'll give them additional discounts if they hit certain volume. The dealer has $100,000 or more, we'll give them an extra 2% bonus on their sales. So we'll we'll be giving them license fees back in terms of credit for future sales. So their sales are over $100,000, $250, give them a 2% bonus. Over $250, give them a 4% bonus. So this is money going back into the system integrators or dealers' pocket for volume sales. It's good to know. Let them know that there's additional income based on sales volume.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're about it. I think the other one was, when we work with the system integrator or the manufacturer's reps, we give them software, and this is basically a demo wizard, so you can go off and demonstrate the access control interface to the customer, or their asset tracking or license plate recognition, all done by simulators. So we have a simulation that allows them to demonstrate the system without leaving their desk. They don't have to buy any hardware. We can show them what ZKAccess looks like on their VMS system, or LSAG, license plate recognition, or Micro's point of sale. All this is done in software, so we generate traffic that looks just like these devices and bring them up onto the VMS system so you can demonstrate to your customer what it's going to look like at the end without bringing any hardware into the picture. A very useful tool.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so where are we here? Sales channel and pricing model. Questions? I covered a lot of stuff. Went kind of fast there. I'm trying to keep it within an hour. But we put a lot out on the table, and I think a lot of it is the fact that we've got some, why C2P. It basically allows you to go back in and revisit your customers. We've got new interfaces, not only for the VMS systems, but other systems that you might already have in place. That gives you an opportunity to talk and go back to your customers and let them know what's coming down the pike.
This is Kerry Berman. I'm just kind of wondering what the interface for the digital signage was. I noticed that on the last slide.
Yeah. That is for mass notifications. We can actually take JPEG images and stream them across the client. So if there's an alert going out, like lockdown, stay in place, you can actually send emergency notifications out on your VMS system by
Can
using
you coordinate that with a facility lockdown?
That would be a control. Yeah, I guess, Paul, we could do that, right, as far as the PLC controller interface?
Yes, that would probably be an M2M thing, where that would come into play, where we could come out with that would be a straight procedure. If you wanted to do digital signage as a result, digital signage is like a slideshow. Essentially, what you do is you drop JPEGs into a folder, and it cycles through the JPEGs in that folder at whatever rate you want it to go through. So, I don't know, Charlie, do you have that hooked up on your Milestone machine?
I think so. We got digital signage up on there.
So this is just our cheesy advertisements for all the different integrations, but it gives you an idea of how digital signage works. These are just JPEGs in a folder that get cycled through when you turn on digital signage.
Mm-hmm.
So if you had monitors in a hallway where you wanted to put the daily messages up or whatever, or in a grocery store or whatever, you could do that through this.
Okay. Okay, that's kind of interesting. Mm-hmm.
So I have a compensation question. Clearly, as far as ZKAccess is concerned, we look at C2P as a tool that we could leverage to find more ZKAccess opportunities. From the rep's perspective, do you have any other openings in your territory for additional authorized manufacturers reps?
Sure. Yep. We don't have territory, so if we have manufacturers reps in the area, we'll give them the training, we'll give them the software, supply them with the data sheets, up and running. We do have a manufacturer's rep agreement we can set up.
Yep. So encourage everybody on the phone, definitely get involved. Grab Paul and Charlie and become authorized MRs, and this way you not only find ZKAccess business, of course, now you get a commission for the sale of the C2P licenses.
Okay, so and who do you reach out to?
You can set at C2P, Charlie H at C2P.com. I'll send out this webinar to all the attendees, and we'll go ahead and work that out.
Charlie, from a ZKAccess perspective, I think the most effective way to make sales would be for our salespeople to go after the Milestone integrators, the ONSSI integrators, the Mirasys integrators. I know this is pie in the sky, but do you have access to any of those channel partners of Milestone and ONSSI?
Well, in ONSSI we do. We have, Steve F.M. Valeni is a reps for the ONSSI in the Northeast. So we have other reps in the Southeast and the Midwest.
Right. Well, no doubt Steve and Sean will tap all their ONSSI partners. I'm wondering, for the rest of our reps that don't have working relationships with those VMS vendors, are we on our own to gather who those integrators are, or can you help us?
I can help you with the integrators. They're on the go ahead, on the web, the ONSSI website, the Milestone website. They show you where to buy. The people.
Okay. Okay.
So, this is Gil with ISM West. Who are the authorized distributors for C2P?
The distributors, we have some in Australia. We have some up in the New York area, in the Contronics. We're trying to talk to Annixter. We'd like to get into the Annixter. And Triad was another one, Triad. So those are the folks that we have approached. We never got too far with them, although all of our integrations are with companies they already represent. So just a matter of showing them the benefits. So.
Yeah, Charlie, we recently, as of about 6 months ago, got into Triad. So need any help there, we can make introductions to their vendor relations manager.
Sure. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That'd be great, Larry. Okay. All right.
Yep.
Anything else?
So no, basically, so we will have a one-page data sheet which explains the C2P and ZKAccess integration. Once you sign up with C2P as an MR, you will get their price list, and any prospective customer basically buys ZKAccess from one of our authorized distributors. They buy C2P license from C2P, and then as far as C2P integration is concerned, they will directly receive tech support from C2P, and ZKBioSecurity, will be supported by ZKAccess.
Okay.
Our experience for the integration support, most of the calls, they go into the system integrator. They know the system better than the customer does in most cases. And if they can't handle it, then it comes back to us, and we're there to help them.
Yeah, on the subject of Milestone, we're going to be at the MIPS conference next week on the 14th and 15th, I believe. If anybody's going, we'll be at table 51, demoing the ZKAccess integration.
And this conference is in Texas.
Yes.
Lee, if you are on the call, I would suggest if you can visit them and see if you can. It'll be a good source to get some leads.
That's a good idea. Yeah, I'm here. And what is this again? I missed what they said it was.
MIPS conference. Milestone.
It's called MIPS, Milestone Integration Partners or Integration Platform Symposium there.
Okay. Okay.
It's handled in.
Where is it again? Probably in Dallas. I guess
it's
in Dallas.
San Antonio, Texas.
Oh, really? That's. I live just outside of San Antonio, so that would be
perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, that's in the JW Marriott in San Antonio.
What's the date? What's the date?
Next
date is February 14th to February 16th.
Okay. Very good.
Careful with the 16th.
Yeah, I'll make it.
14 and 15.
14 and 15.
Okay,
yeah,
and is
next Tuesday.
So they have basically a little trade show or a trade show of some type or something. That's because you said you'll have a table there.
Right.
Okay, when is the trade show there? All 3 days or just?
It's not a traditional trade show. It's basically they're bringing together all the integrations from their partners.
Right.
They are bringing the qualified customers and existing customers to see all the solutions, because customers already got a milestone system and they have additional needs like access control, biometric, LPR, and stuff, and that's the opportunity to see the technologies.
Are they also doing training, like integrator training also? Do you know, or?
I don't think they do training on that one. No.
Okay.
They have some classes, but what's the entry fee, Charlie, for walk-ins?
I think it's like $500. I think you're just going to walk in the door.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I have a question for you then. If you're going to have a table there for integrating, I could join you at your table as a ZK rep.
I think they charge extra for that. I'm sure that they do extra.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, we thought we'd have.
You're welcome to stop by.
I'll do some. Yeah. That's okay. Let me see. I may be able to talk to one of the. I know a lot of guys that sell Milestone. Dealers that sell Milestone. Maybe could get in that way. Maybe try that. So anyway, I'll look into it. I'll definitely look into it. That's I mean, like I said, that's right down the street from me almost. Yes.
Hey, sorry about that. Hey, this is Richard with Montfort. Sorry I got dropped out for a little bit there. I asked the question via the text. Are we planning on doing anything with Video Expert from Pelco?
Funny you ask. Paul, you want to cover that? Or?
Yeah. let's just say something's in the works there. We don't have anything we could talk about just yet, but if you could pass your name along to Charlie and any opportunities you have, that may help our hand in making that move a little quicker. But right now, I can't say we don't have anything right now.
There's nothing, no ETA, no nothing like that. Okay. I'm just asking because I got a lot of. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Paul, I was going to say, FYI, we're going to have a very aggressive marketing strategy towards the Schneider integrators nationwide. So that'd be really, really good to have in our pocket. I mean, Richard can give you more information on that on the side.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
I see tons of potential here for schools, casinos. I mean, everything out in the Chicago market. So.
Yeah.
That's all.
So if you could pass that information along to Charlie with any contact, we'll use that as leverage at our end to move it along as well. Because like anything else, it's all momentum driven on their side. There is a very small piece they have to do, and so a little pressure on that would help move that along.
And Charlie, is your information in here?
On this Charlie webinar? H. I'll give it to you. It's Charlie H. CHARLIEH.
I'm not ready. So
okay.
All right.
Kerry, you
Charlie.
just asked me the question. Are you noting down?
I should have put it on the front page. Charlie H. CHARLIEH at C2P.com. C, the letter Charlie, the number 2, letter P as in Peter.com.
Got it. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, Richard. What else we got?
Okay, team. So if you do not have any more questions, then we will follow up with an email with a recording of this presentation. And if you need any assistance in getting in touch with Charlie, please let us know. We can connect you with him, and then once everybody signs up, we will come up with a marketing plan of introducing this solution to our customers and to new customers. And also, this will be on display at our booth at ISC West in Las Vegas. So if you have any customers who wants to see it live, they can come in and see it at our booth.
Very good.
I'd like to give our special thanks to Sean and Steve Valenti for helping make this happen. We all stand to benefit, so thank you very much. And Charlie, Paul, Moshe, it's just been great having you engaged with us, and we're looking forward to a lot of success.
That's great. Thank you very much for the time.
Looking forward to working with you as well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Okay, have a good week, everyone.
Right.
All right, we'll see you. Bye now.